Welcome to Module 2. In this particular module, I'm going to introduce you to the world of pay-per-view marketing, also known as cost-per-view marketing. And pay-per-view traffic is a source of traffic that can be extremely powerful, and you can get a lot of it. And as I go through this module, you'll see how you can go out and start buying pay-per-view traffic for as little as 2/1000ths of a cent and start sending it to CPA offers to generate commissions. Now, like I mentioned before, the previous industry term for PPV used to be CPV, or cost per view. I introduced this traffic source to mainstream internet marketing, the internet marketing world, way back in 2007, with a 36-minute video to a select few of my prospects and customers. And since then, it's exploded and it's become a mainstream form of traffic for a lot of internet marketers. Okay, and the reason why it exploded is it's extremely powerful and a very, very targeted form of traffic generation. You ever hear of that saying that sometimes when something sounds too good to be true, it usually is? Well, pay-per-view is something at that time that sounded too good to be true. But the thing about it was that everything that the traffic provided, as far as conversions and everything, was true. It was very, very targeted. The conversions were great. And way back in 2007, 2008, I used to get ROIs as high as 500% to 1,000% routinely by buying pay-per-view traffic and sending it to CPA offers. In fact, I've made millions of dollars sending all sorts of traffic to ringtone offers a few years ago, and one of the probably the biggest form of traffic that I did send to ringtone offers was pay-per-view traffic. Now, a lot of people wondering what exactly is pay-per-view traffic. If you're not familiar with what pay-per-view traffic is, it's basically pop-up windows that pop over people's browsers while they're surfing, while they're going to particular websites. And these pop-ups are triggered by software that is downloaded by the end user. Okay, so these pop-up windows they're not blockable by your typical pop-up blocker, okay, because it's triggered by software that's not related to the browser. Whether the user is surfing using Firefox, Google Chrome, or Internet Explorer, these pop-ups will be displayed as long as the software is on the user's computer. So why would these people want to download this particular software? Well, the one thing to keep in mind is that adware is very, very different than spyware, okay? We're all aware of what spyware is. It's malicious software that's put on your computer without permission, okay? Adware software is very, very different. The end user is accepting an agreement to download the software, and it's very easy to uninstall the software. Now, what happens is when the prospect who has the adware software on the computer decides to visit a particular website or searches a particular keyword, that may generate a pop-up window. It could be a pop-over window, a pop-under window, depending on the network that is popping up the window. That will contain your advertisement. Okay, and I'll go through this particular module on how you can start advertising using pay-per-view traffic and get your prospect right in front of your offers or the CPA offers that you want to promote. The beauty of the adware of pay-per-view traffic is that you get to choose the keywords, the domains, and categories that you would like to target. So exactly how does adware work, or pay-per-view traffic work? Well, I want you to imagine that you are promoting let's say a dating offer, a CPA dating offer. And let's say it's a dating offer for Match.com and you're paid $5 for every registration. Well, if a user visits, let's say singlesnet.com or plentyoffish.com, and that is a domain that you're bidding on, a pop-up window is going to appear with your advertisement, and it could be an advertisement through your affiliate link for the website Match.com. So think about how targeted that is. A prospect could be going to singlesnet.com, getting ready to register an account on singlesnet.com, and here you come with a pop-over window that appears just before they start to register on singlesnet.com, and instead they end up registering on Match.com, which registers a commission for you. Another way that your pop-up windows can be generated is when somebody is doing a search query on a keyword that you're bidding on. For example, somebody might be searching for free dating on Google. That could also trigger your pop-up window showing your advertisement to be displayed. Okay. Now, the way it works is when you have multiple advertisers, it's the advertisers who are. It's all done in an auction market. Okay. So obviously the advertiser with the highest bid wins. And normally the PPV networks work in a manner of that the number one guy will get 50% of the impressions or traffic, the number two guy will get 25% of the traffic, the number three will get 10% of the traffic, and the remaining advertisers after that will have to split over the remaining 5% of the traffic. So it's really, really important that when you are bidding on pay-per-view traffic that you do at least try to get into at least the top 3 position in order to get the bulk of the traffic. Now, what are examples of software that people might download onto their computers? Well, if you go to a website like GameVance.com, this is an example of a software program that people would download onto their computer. And you might wonder, why would they download this software onto their computer knowing that they're going to have to accept the occasional advertisement? Well, if you look over here, it says over $2 million has been won and counting. So basically, when these people download this GameVance software, they're competing for cash. So it's an incentive for them to download the software and participate. And really, since it's free to download the software, it's a very, very small price to pay to have relevant ads thrown up to you while you're surfing the net or doing search queries on Google or Bing for the opportunity to win gift cards, Apple iPods, digital cameras by playing with this particular software tool on their computer. Now, GameVance is the software that does power TrafficVance, which is the PPV network that distributes the software in order to get the impressions and the traffic for their advertisers. Now, with AdWare traffic, the reason why it's so lucrative is it's much, much more easier than pay-per-click advertising. I know I talked about pay-per-click advertising in the first module. It's very, very specific. It's very, very targeted. But with PPV traffic, it's much easier because there's no ad writing involved or dealing with quality score issues. If you remember from Module 1, I did talk about that there are quality score issues with Google and MSN, and you got to get past that. But with pay-per-view traffic, there's no ad writing if you're not creating any landing pages, because you can directly link right through your affiliate URL to whatever CPA offer that you want to promote. And you can literally generate tens of thousands of impressions for as little as 2/1000ths of a cent on some of these networks. I think the most impressions I've ever bought in a single day was probably about 2.9 million impressions on add-on networks. So there's a lot of inventory of impressions out there that you can go out and grab. And with traffic available for as little as 2/1000ths of a cent, this has got to be one of the cheapest forms of targeted traffic that you could possibly buy. Okay, and it's extremely powerful because, like I said, I don't know how much more powerful you can get than promoting an offer like Match.com and then bidding on competing URLs like SinglesNet.com, PlentyOfFish.com, LavaLife.com, and all the other hundreds, if not thousands, of other dating websites that are out there. So let's talk about PPV to CPA. I mean, you can literally, after going through this module, quickly set up campaigns and direct the traffic straight to CPA offers. A lot of the CPA networks will offer what is called a contextual link. That is basically your affiliate link, but made for strictly PPV traffic. And the reason why it's called a contextual link is because in your reporting, it'll show up every time that the PPV network pops up your offer. It'll show as an impression rather than a click, because you don't want to be generating 2 million clicks when they're not legitimate clicks, because that skews the earnings per click for the network. So most of these networks do provide you with a contextual link that will simply count the pop-up window as an impression. The other nice thing about directing traffic from PPV networks straight to CPA offers is that obviously there's no inventory or customer support that you have to do if you are promoting CPA offers on PPV. And you really can get unbelievable conversions if you hit the right targets with the right offers. I mean, recently on my blog at goherchaudhry.com, I did post how for every $4 I'm spending on TrafficVance for a particular campaign, I'm getting about a $50 return. So that's like a 1,000 ROI, and it's all because of really one target on TrafficVance that I'm bidding on and sending it to the right offer. So if you can do that. If you can find 10 or 15 or 20 of those type of offers where you hit the right keywords or the right targets and match it up with the right offers, you can make a lot of money on a daily basis in the CPA game. Now, one thing that I do want you to understand is that pay-per-view marketing is all about interruption marketing, okay? So basically, you need to select CPA offers that people will fill out on impulse. Remember that when your PPV pop-up windows are popped up with your advertisement, people didn't specifically ask to see your advertisement. But if you're bidding on very, very targeted domains and keywords, they're not gonna mind if your ad pops up and it's something that they need to solve their problem at that moment. So the one thing that I want you to do is that when you are selecting CPA offers, think about when you're going to be sending PPV traffic to that CPA offer, is this a CPA offer that people will fill out on impulse? I mean, if you're going to promote a life insurance offer with 75 fields of information that needs to be filled in, I don't think that's going to do very well at all with pay-per-view traffic. You want to promote short form offers such as email or zip submits on pay-per-view traffic or pay-per-view networks, or maybe for short forms anywhere from 4 to 7 probably fields maximum in order to get good conversions. So, like I said, the one thing that you do also definitely want to visit is the landing pages or the CPA offer that you're promoting, to make sure that it's a good converting landing page. Okay, and like I said, with only a few fields of information, you're trying to get these people on impulse. So make sure that that you're sending them to a page that does, number one, grab their attention and does entice them to fill out the field. Now, as far as pay-per-view traffic with the CPA networks, most allow the adware traffic to their offers, while some do not. And I mean, 3-4 years ago, it was almost half and half, where half CPA offers didn't allow adware traffic. In fact, I remember when I started sending adware traffic way back in 2007 to a particular CPA network, I actually got my account banned because I didn't realize that they didn't accept adware traffic. And it was only through after speaking with their compliance department that I did get my account back and understand that they don't accept adware traffic. So the best thing to do is, before you send any sort of adware traffic to a CPA offer, is to check with your affiliate manager if that's okay. If you go through the description of the CPA offer on the network and you don't see any information about whether you're allowed to send PPV or contextual traffic to that offer, always check with your affiliate manager, because once they give you the go ahead, then at least you got that as proof that you were given the go ahead to use pay-per-view traffic. Okay, and like I mentioned before on the previous slide, always pull a contextual link creative to count your pop-up traffic as impressions rather than clicks on the networks. Now, let's talk about the pay-per-view networks, okay? I mean, there's basically 5 main networks out there. There is a 6th network, but it's not pure pay-per-view traffic. I'll explain that as I kind of go through this and talk about each of the networks. The first network, and one of the oldest networks, is Media Traffic. Okay, these guys are based out of Montreal, and you can start buying traffic. The minimum bid, I mean, they're one of the costliest pay-per-view networks, in the sense that you got to bid at least a minimum of 2 cents on domains and their keywords. And they do offer 3 ways to buy targeted traffic. I mean, you can start bidding on keywords and URLs. You could do category targeting, or you could do run-of-the-network targeting. And basically, run-of-the-network targeting is basically targeting all of their remnant traffic. And I don't suggest that you do that unless you have an offer that appeals to a general audience to bid on run-of-the-network traffic. On media traffic, I recommend you stick with keywords, URLs, and categories. And like I said, since the minimum bid is 2 cents per impression, you want to make sure that you're bidding on very, very, very specific targets in order to get the best quality traffic that you can. Now, on media traffic, you can go out and you can get international traffic for as little as $1 for every 1,000 impressions in countries such as Brazil and Spain. And they do have a large amount of international traffic out there. You can see here on one of the advantages they quote here is that they have a user base of 15 million opt-in users and growing on a daily. Now, my understanding is that media traffic is basically a popover. You have a choice between a popover and a pop-under window. Always choose a popover option. And they do pop over a window that's about 1028 by 764 pixels. So make sure that when you are sending the traffic to a CPA offer or to your own landing pages, that the call to action is quite visible in that type of in that size window. The next network is Lead Impact, and Lead Impact is huge. They have probably a user base of about 25 million users, and you can get a lot of traffic in a short amount of time from Lead Impact. Now, the way they base their minimum bids is that they start from about a penny and a half, and they work their way up depending on the category that the offer that you're promoting falls into. Okay, I mean, they claim to be the largest CPV pay-per-view network out there. I don't know if they're the largest. I would say they're pretty close to TrafficVance, but I have found that you can get a lot of good conversions using Lead Impact. The one thing to keep in mind about Lead Impact is that I found that bidding on domains far out converts bidding on keywords. I'm not sure exactly how they pop up their keywords, whether it's keyword searches or just any time the keyword shows up in a domain URL or a keyword search. But I found that bidding on domains works much more than bidding simply on keywords on leadimpact.com. Lead Impact does pop up an 800 by 600 window, so keep that in mind when you're selecting the CPA offer to promote. Like I mentioned, make sure that the call to action is quite visible in the window. Add-on network. Add-on network. I like add-on network in the sense that you can get traffic for as little as 2/1000ths of a penny. That's right. You can get U.S. traffic for 2/1000ths of a penny on add-on network. The one thing to remember about add-on network is that if you're doing any sort of advertising on add-on network is basically an aggregation of thousands of different partners or hundreds of different partners out there. And what you have to do is you're gonna kind of have to self-manage the traffic. You got to be real careful here because they do have quite a few fraudulent partners and bots. What you want to do is you want to make sure that they have a self-optimizing platform where you can block specific traffic IDs. So make sure that if you are buying traffic from add-on network, that you are passing their partner ID token to make sure that you are blocking poor performing partners. And like I said, with traffic as little as 2/1000ths of a penny, you can get a lot of cheap impressions that'll only cost you a few bucks. And if you're promoting CPA offers, that can work out extremely well on add-on network. Traffic Vance is probably my favorite pay-per-view network. They have very targeted traffic. Like I said, it's their Game Vance application that powers most of their traffic on Traffic Vance. Now, one thing with Traffic Vance that you have to do know that if you want to open an account on Traffic Vance, you do have to make a minimum deposit of at least $1,000, and you do have to get a referral from an advertiser who is currently spending $50 a day with Traffic Vance. Now, if you do have problems getting a referral, what I highly recommend is that you visit any kind of traffic forum where people are doing pay-per-view traffic, and you pay somebody to be your referral. I mean, if you simply ask somebody to be your referral and they don't know who you are, the chances of them giving you a referral are going to be very slim. But if you pay somebody a good amount of money, like $250, $500 to act as your referral, then that can guarantee you that you do get into Traffic Vance. And the way that Traffic Vance converts so well, you'll easily be able to get that $250 to $500 back by running some good targeted traffic. Direct CPV is probably the baby of all of the PPV networks. It's probably been about 2 years old now. Their minimum bid is a penny and a half, and once again, you can bid on keywords, URLs, and categories. The one thing is that Direct CPV is, once again, they have their own partners out there, and they also have their own software. And I highly recommend that you do watch what keywords are converting and what keywords are not converting, because I found that you can get sometimes partners who are sending bogus traffic on particular keywords. So just keep that in mind when you're advertising on Direct CPV. Now, minimum bids on Direct CPV do start at 1/5 of a 1 cent and a half. And you can get run-of-the-network traffic for 4/10ths of a cent, but like I've said about run-of-the-network traffic, it is remnant traffic. So unless you're promoting something that's of like dieting or shopping, that's very broad audience, I would stay away from run-the-network traffic in the meantime. And the last network is Clixer, and I mentioned before in a previous slide that Clixer is not a pure PPV network. It's not like that they go out and they have users downloading their software. Basically, the way they work is that they have thousands of publishers in their network that agree to show pop-up windows on their websites. So, I mean, it's kind of like a pop-up network as opposed to a PPV network, but Clixer does try to make it as close to PPV as possible because it looks at what's in the URL of that particular publisher, so that when you are bidding on keywords or particular URLs, they will try to target your ad as much as possible. Now, on Clixer, I do, if I'm not mistaken, I think the minimum bid at the time of this recording is half a penny per impression, and they do have quite a bit of inventory as far as getting pay-per-view traffic and pop-up windows. Now let's talk about the power of pay-per-view traffic. I know that I talked about this earlier, and even though pay-per-view has been around now for 6 years, so be careful about when you hear about other people talking about pay-per-view traffic, claiming that it's a new source of traffic. It's not new. I've been teaching this for the last 6 years, and there's plenty of guys and hundreds of people who have been doing this for the last 6 years. So if anybody tells you this is a new traffic source, I would stay away from that person as far as possible, because this is nothing new. Okay. And with that being said, yeah, there is a lot of competition, but I still can find a majority of bids on many targets are still around the minimum cent range on the various networks. For example, on Traffic Vance, the minimum bid is 1.1 cent. You'll still find the bulk of targets out there are still 1.1 cent. And I mean, there's new domains coming online every single day that you can immediately start bidding on. Okay. Now, when I talked about the power of pay-per-view traffic, if you're promoting, let's say, a $4 $4 CPA offer, you only need to get one conversion for every 400 targeted impressions to break even. Think about that. If you're bidding a penny for every single impression and you're bidding on very, very targeted impressions, let's say all your competitors' URLs, you only really need to get one conversion to break even. And trust me, if it's targeted traffic, you'll get way more than one conversion. I talked about this earlier, that I was bidding on one target getting a 100% ROI because that's how targeted it was. On this particular example, just two conversions will get you double your money back or a 100% ROI. And that really is the power of pay-per-view traffic. Now, some of the tips that I can recommend in my journey through pay-per-view traffic is never bid the minimum. Okay, always try and bid at least one hundredth of a penny higher than the minimum bid for a better placement. And the reason for that is that when you got 50 people bidding on the same URL, chances are that more than half of these people are newbies and they're bidding the minimum bid. But if you just bid a little bit more, like 100th of a cent more than most of these guys, you're going to end up bypassing 25 to 30 of these people and jumping much higher than them, and that's going to give you a better, much higher chance of having your pop-up window shown to your prospects. Another tip that I can say is be careful when you're bidding on general targets like Google.com and MySpace.com, because you can blow through your budget immediately when you're bidding on targets like Google.com or MySpace.com. I know that on media traffic once I bid on MySpace.com, and even though I set a daily budget of $10, media traffic couldn't stop the traffic fast enough, and I ended up blowing through $90 before they could actually slow down the and stop the campaign. Make sure that you do place daily budgets on all of your campaigns, and all of the networks allow you to do that. So cap your budgets just to be on the safe side. Now, let's talk about the various forms of targeting using pay-per-view traffic. The first form of targeting is keyword targeting. And basically what happens is when somebody types in something into a search engine like Bing or Google, like car insurance quotes, and this is something that you're bidding on as a keyword on the pay-per-view networks, this can trigger your pop-up window to pop over this browser. So now think about how targeted that is if you are promoting a car insurance offer where it's maybe a zip submit. If they submit their, and I've seen this on the CPA networks where you can get paid as much as $5 just for the user giving their 5-digit zip code. Now think about popping a window up over something like car insurance quotes where people can give their 5-digit zip code and you get paid $5. Think about if you're bidding a penny, that out of 500 impressions or 500 prospects seeing your particular pop-up window, that you only need one person or to break even, to fill out your offer, or two people to double your money. Think about the power of that, how targeted you can get. I mean, with pay-per-click traffic, I mean, it's still very, very effective, but here all of these people who are bidding on the pay-per-click traffic, they're still competing all against each other. They're competing for, I mean, there must be about, on the typical search page, there's got to be about 25 different listings. But with your pop-up window or pop-up window from the AdWords traffic, you're basically covering all of these listings with your advertisement, which makes it a very, very form of targeted traffic. And I think you can clearly now see why pay-per-view traffic can convert so well. The other form of targeting is URL targeting. So for this particular example, I've used the website davidsbridal.com. So let's say, for example, you're in the wedding market and you're promoting a wedding-related CPA offer. You can start bidding on wedding-related websites such as David's Bridal URL. And anytime somebody who visits David's Bridal URL, and I'm assuming that anybody who is interested in visiting David's Bridal website is obviously interested in some sort of wedding gowns or wedding dresses or wedding gears, or somebody's going to get married, whether it's the bride, the groom, the bridesmaid, or somebody who's part of the wedding party. They have some sort of interest in the wedding, an upcoming wedding. So now, if you're promoting, let's say, a wedding-related CPA offer, whether it's a wedding sweepstakes offer, or it doesn't necessarily even have to be wedding-related. It could be a shopping, retail-related offer. I mean, I've seen many CPA offers, like, for example, Beyond the Rack or Totsi or Zulily, that's These are websites that offer you 50 to 90% on online shopping. That could be something that could possibly do well with a website, a wedding-related website, because it's kind of retail-related, especially with like davidsbridal.com. And that's basically the power of URL targeting. Now, when you're promoting CPA offers, like I said, and I talked about this before, if you're promoting a particular offer in a particular niche, there's nothing to stop you from bidding on the competing URLs or the competitors to the offer that you're promoting. I mean, the example that I gave before was Match.com. There's nothing to stop you from bidding on the hundreds or thousands of dating websites out there to help promote your Match.com CPA offer. And like I said, just in my experience for the last 6 years, I have always found that URL or domain targeting was always converted much better than keyword targeting. And I know that for lead impact, that statement is definitely true. So just something to take away when you start creating your ads on the pay-per-view networks. And normally, what I do, the way I set up my my ads on the pay-per-view networks is that the way Traffic Vance is set up, Lead Impact is set up, Media Traffic is set up, Add-on Network, all of these networks, is that you do create a campaign and then you create within the campaign ad groups. And I always have one ad group for domains, and then I always have a separate ad group for keywords. That way, I can dump in thousands of domains into one particular ad group and see how that ad group is performing. Throw in thousands of keywords into another ad group, and I like to just keep them separate so that way I can see how well the ad group in general is performing. And like I said, the domains almost always outconvert the keyword groups. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the strategies that I have been using over the last few years, and some of the strategies that you should use as far as finding profitable CPA campaigns using pay-per-view traffic. Okay. Now, the reason why I got into pay-per-view traffic, and I'm going to tell you a little story about 6-7 years ago. My affiliate manager told me that there were a couple of guys who were spending, I think, about $5,000 every morning on that particular CPA network, and then making about $15,000 in revenue by the time the day had ended. And basically, my affiliate manager told me what these guys were doing was they were blowing through $5,000 every morning to figure out what was converting for pay-per-view traffic, for whatever targets, whether it could be Google.com or something a little bit more specific like Lavalife.com. And what they were doing was they were bidding on particular targets and they were rotating similar CPA offers until they found the one with the best EPV, and that's basically earnings per view. Because you remember that every time your window pops up with AdWord traffic, it's not generally a click, so it's not an earnings per click, it's an impression or a view. So what you want to do is you want to determine what CPA offer gets you your best earnings per view. And the best way to do this is to throw and stick a variety of different CPA offers. So for example, on the previous slide, I talked about the website davidsbridal.com. If you do go to the CPA networks, you might find 5 to 10 different related wedding offers, but you don't know what wedding offer is going to convert best for, let's say, davidsbridal.com. So why not rotate the 10 different wedding offers and see which offer generates you the highest earnings per view? Because once you're able to determine what offer is generating you the highest earnings per view, then you can send all of that pay-per-view traffic to the offer with the highest earnings per view. Okay, and that's what these guys were doing. They were spending $5,000 in the morning, and once they determined the offer that was generating the highest earnings per view, I mean, you could be rotating 10 offers and find that 9 offers are losers. They don't make you any money, and they cost you money. They lose you money. Whereas there could be this one lonely offer that seems to double your money every time you send an impression or pay-per-view traffic to that offer. So what do? You obviously shut down all the traffic to the targets that weren't converting, and when you send all the traffic to that one offer that was converting, then all of a sudden you have an explosion of profits that can happen, and you start making a lot of money. Okay, so that's what these guys were doing, was spending $5,000 every morning and then making $15,000 in the afternoon, because by then they knew, after testing and tracking, what offer was converting well for that particular target. And you can do that. You can find a bid on a target that gets a lot of traffic, like let's say Netflix.com, and just with that single target, start a campaign, start rotating a variety of different offers, and see what offer converts for that particular audience. Okay. And you can also do this with multiple landing pages. You don't necessarily have to rotate CPA offers that you're directly linking to. You can do this with multiple landing pages and create really engaging, eye-catching landing pages. and then rotate a variety of different offers and find the best combination that gives you the best EPV. So for example, you might have 10 different landing pages that you're rotating and then sending it to 10 different offers, which gives you 100 different combinations. Okay, and out of those 100 combinations, you could find the one combination that gives you the highest EPV, and then all of a sudden send your traffic right through that combination and generate a huge amount of money. Okay, and I know it can get a bit complicated when it comes to rotating multiple landing pages and then rotating multiple offers, but I'll talk about a solution close to the end of this module that you can implement that makes this thing a breeze. The other strategy I want to talk about is the pinpoint domination strategy, okay? Because I found that deep domain or URL linking can result in extremely targeted traffic and high conversions. And what I mean by deep URL linking is not necessarily bidding on the broad name of the domain. So for example, when I talked about running an offer like Match.com, you might want to bid on, let's say, singlesnet.com. This might not be the best way to bid on singlesnet.com because you're still sending people to the generic domain itself, singlesnet.com. But what about if you were to send the traffic to the registration page where people create a new account on singlesnet.com? Because then you know that these are people who are actually creating a new account and not simply returning SinglesNet users who are logging in from the homepage. This is an example of deep domain or URL linking, which can result in extremely targeted traffic and result in higher conversions, because if the person is at the registration page of singlesnet.com, chances are they're going to be more inclined to fill out your offer if you're popping up a registration offer for Match.com. Like I said, this strategy allows you to target broad and generic domains by pinpointing specific pages on that particular domain. It's the same thing. If you go to a broad website like about.com, or wikihow.com or associatedcontent.com. I mean, these are broad-based websites that have particular categories and particular pages on a variety of different topics. You definitely don't want to bid on the entire domain. You would want to bid on specific categories or specific pages of those particular websites. And I found that the competition is much less on specific web pages. So in most cases, you will be able to get bids on specific pages or categories at the minimum bid price. So effectively, you're getting much more extremely targeted traffic for a fraction of the cost that you would be paying if you were bidding on the domain in general. So another great way is to just target order or buy pages of a particular website. I mean, if somebody's going to the order page or the buy pages of a particular website and you're selling a related offer, you can find a CPA offer that's pretty much related to what the prospect's going to be ordering or buying. This can also result in a good amount of conversions. Let's talk about the pay-per-click leverage strategy. Now, this is a strategy that I'd been using for a long time, and I made a huge amount of money, a good ROI on this. Because if you think about it, when it comes to CPA marketing, I mean, pay-per-view traffic's not the only way people buy massive amounts of traffic. There's affiliates out there that are doing massive media buys, and what media buys are is banner advertising and also pay-per-click marketing. Okay, and what a lot of these people do is when they're promoting a variety of different offers on media buys and pay-per-click networks, is that they go out and they register domains and then they create blogs or landing pages on those particular domains, and then they send a massive amount of traffic to those domains. So what I usually do is I bid on their domains. I bid on their domain names, and I basically siphon the traffic from these qualified clicks. And what do I mean by qualified clicks? Well, think about it. The people that are coming to these people's domains or these affiliates' landing pages are people who have either clicked on a pay-per-click ad or people who have clicked on a banner ad. So the prospect is already pretty much semi-qualified. They've seen a banner, they've seen a pay-per-click ad, and now that has piqued their curiosity and they've ended up going to the domain. So think about how absolutely targeted that particular traffic is that you can get a lot of. And I used to do this. I took advantage of traffic spends from good friends like Amish Shah, and they didn't even know it. These guys were they were buying hundreds of thousands of clicks on a daily basis, and here I was in the background basically bidding on their domains and having my related offer, my related CPA offers pop up over their websites, basically siphoning their traffic, their qualified traffic, and having the prospect fill out my CPA offer instead. And I mean, there are tools like MixRank out there that'll allow you to spy on places like the Google Content Network, where you can see what advertisers and affiliates are doing the big advertising spends. And once you find out the guys who are doing the big advertising spends, obviously, number one, the reason why they're doing it is because they're making money. But if you can make a list of their domains and then find related CPA offers that are very targeted, that can result in a lot of good conversions for you. Now, here's an example of an affiliate's website. I mean, this is way back in the day, 2-3 years ago, where somebody created a website called doubledieting.com. And then you can see here, this was a typical flog or a fake blog that this person was using to promote a dieting-related offer. So I basically took advantage of this domain. I started bidding on pay-per-view traffic on this particular domain, sending it to a dieting-related offer. So anytime somebody was visiting this particular flog, my CPA offer, and I was directly linking. I never got into the world of doing any sort of fake blogs or fake articles because I don't believe in that. But I did take advantage of that pre-qualified traffic and send it to a related dating offer, or sorry, a related dieting offer, and it converted extremely well. I think the ROI by bidding on certain pages like this was almost 2,000%. So it does work extremely well. The key here is you got to find out who are the guys who are doing the big media buys and the big spends on pay-per-click and what their domains are, and then kind of siphoning the traffic from there. Now I'm going to show you a couple of resources that are basically a pay-per-view marketer's best friend. Okay, number one is quantcast.com. Okay, quantcast.com is a service on the internet where they rank the top 1 million most trafficked websites online, and they show this list from number 1 to number 1 million. Okay, and what this allows you to do, it allows you to find out the domains that are getting the most traffic. Because if you think back to a few slides ago in this presentation where I talked about the throw and stick strategy, that I mean, with pay-per-view traffic, I'm telling you, traffic will never ever be an issue because there's an abundance of it with the pay-per-view networks. The key here is that if you find a traffic or a domain that gets a lot of traffic on a pay-per-view network, you have to find out what offer converts for it. Okay, if you're bidding on a particular domain, you're sending it to a CPA offer, and you're losing money hand over fist, it's not the domain or the keyword that's the problem. Okay, because it's real targeted visitors. It's the offer that you're promoting. Okay, it's the offer that you're promoting. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're constantly testing and tracking to see what offers convert for what domains. Okay, and this is one strategy that you can just work with all day, is just look at what domains get the most traffic and figure out how to make that domain profitable with a CPA offer. The other thing I like about quantcast.com is that they show related sites, which makes it easy to identify other converting sites. So let's say, for example, you're bidding on a particular domain and it's converting extremely well for a particular CPA offer. Well, Quantcast will also show you related domains to that particular site, and they gather all this data by looking at user data, where users go before they come to a domain, where users leave when they go to a particular domain, and they can find related sites with you. And chances are that these sites will convert just as well as the main domain that you're bidding on. And this can add an additional amount of traffic to whatever CPA offer you're promoting, an additional amount of conversions. Okay. The other thing about Quantcast is that they do supply demographic information on each website. So you can actually go into the Quantcast planner and you can build a demographic profile of a variety of different websites. And I'll talk about that as I move on. Now here's just an example of me going to Quantcast.com and pulling out a list. And it's no surprise that Google is number 1, Yahoo is number 2, Facebook is number 3. I don't suggest that you go after these targets because they're very, very generic in nature. But once you start going into between 100 to 1,000, you'll get more targeted domains where you can start promoting the more niche-related CPA offers. And like I said, that Quantcast does give you the ability to build a variety of different domains based on a particular demographic. So if you're promoting a CPA offer and you know what the demographic profile for that particular CPA offer is, Quantcast will allow you. They will allow you to build a profile, and they will supply back with you the domains or a number of domains that you can start bidding on that fit that demographic. So for example, let's say you were promoting an offer that related to people who have never been to college or grad school. You could select an option of no college. Let's say you were promoting an offer that was focused to parents. Well, definitely you don't want to be promoting to this category where people have no children. You want to be promoting to a category where people have children. I mean, there's a lot of powerful stuff in this, so I highly recommend that you do go to quantcast.com and check it out, because there are a lot of tools and resources that you can use when you're buying pay-per-view traffic to make sure that you're getting the best quality traffic. Pay-per-view traffic is actually excellent. It's phenomenal for list building, and you can build a list really, really fast. And the reason why list building works so well with pay-per-view traffic is because if you can create a really good, engaging landing page, putting your name or email or just asking for the email in an opt-in form is a small task. And if it's really engaging to the prospect, they're not going to mind giving you their name or their email address. I mean, if you start putting 58 fields here, yeah, that's going to be an issue. But if you can create a really good targeted landing page, and I mean, most of the networks, they'll even allow you to put on that page, for example, welcome davidsbridal.com visitor. So you can even identify some of the targets that you're bidding on the website. I don't recommend that you use trademark logos or anything like that, because that can get you in trouble. What you're going to want to do is you can identify the URL on your landing page, but I've built lists well into the thousands just relying on pay-per-view traffic. And the beauty of pay-per-view traffic is that you can literally build a list of thousands of subscribers overnight if you go out and you buy large amounts of traffic on, let's say, a Traffic Vance or a Lead Impact, and then follow up with that and build a really, really profitable email follow-up funnel where you can make a lion's share of revenues with CPA offers by continually promoting via emails. Now, when it comes to creating landing pages on pay-per-view traffic, now with CPA offers, I told you can directly link to the particular offers. I don't do that as much anymore as I did 3-4 years ago, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, pay-per-view traffic, the competition has increased, and there's a lot of people who are trying to promote CPA offers using pay-per-view traffic. So there's a good chance that there are people who are promoting the exact same CPA offer that you are. And if they're bidding slightly ahead of you, their offer is going to pop up in front of the prospect before yours does. And if the prospect sees the offer, they've seen the offer, and if they fill it out on top of that, even if you pop up your offer, they've seen it. Number one, they might not fill it out because they've already filled it out, or number two, they won't fill it out because they've already filled it out. So you have generated an impression that's gone absolutely nowhere. Okay, and chances are, especially if you're number 5 or 6 in the bidding process, a prospect could have already seen the landing page that you're promoting 5 or 6 times, and they've just zoned out now. They have absolutely no interest in filling out that particular CPA offer. So now what I normally do is I create landing pages now, and I rotate a variety of different landing pages because I figured by pre-selling the prospect on the particular CPA offer is a better chance of getting better conversion. So what I normally do is when I create a pay-per-view campaign, and this goes kind of on the lines of multiple landing pages and multiple offers, what I'll do is I will start off by creating a variety of different landing pages. And usually I'll do 2, and I'll split test these 2 against each other and continually improve as I go through. And you'll see the importance of that because here are 3 landing pages that I was running for the exact same campaign. And you can see here that the first landing page generated a click-through rate of 2.8%. What that means is that out of every 1,000 impressions, 2.8 people went to the final. They clicked on the offer, they clicked on the creative, they clicked on the link here. For this one, close to 13 out of 100 people, or 12.6%, did, and then 8% of these people clicked on this. This landing page, based on the same targets, outperformed this by more than 400%. This particular landing page. And had I not been testing landing pages, I never would have been able to have known that. And it's through this continual process that's the difference between losing money with this landing page and only getting a 3% conversion, a click-through rate, and getting a profitable campaign, which I do now have at 13%. And believe it or not, as of this particular video recording, I have now improved this, gone on to create landing pages that have outperformed this by 25% now. So now the traffic that I'm buying from these targets based on another landing page is now getting 25% click-through rate. And that can happen through a combination of, number one, improving the landing page, and obviously removing targets or that are not getting a good or a high enough click-through rate, that will get you a higher click-through rate and almost always guarantee you a profitable PPV to CPA campaign. So there's two things I want you to keep in mind is that when you're using landing pages, you always want to be improving the landing page to get a higher click-through rate, and at the same time going through your reports to see which targets are generating poor click-through rates, and either stopping the traffic, pausing the traffic to those targets, or peeling those targets out of that ad campaign and maybe creating a more specific landing page that's geared towards that particular target. Okay, you don't necessarily have to give up entirely on that target. You could put it in its own ad group, create its own landing page towards that target. And like I said, most of the networks will allow you to identify the domain on your landing page. So for example, let's say singlesnet.com wasn't performing well. You could peel it up, put it in its own ad group, then create a more specific landing page that says, hey, singlesnet visitor, check this out. And that might result in a higher click-through rate and a higher conversion on the CPA offer, which means that more money in your pocket. So how did I figure this out? How did I rotate these multiple landing pages? Well, in order to rotate landing pages, you would need to know a little bit about PHP programming. You would have to put a little bit of PHP coding in order to rotate landing pages effectively. But I use a tool that I had my programmers develop called PPV Dominator. And you can see here that what this tool does is it automatically rotates the landing pages for me, and I can weight these landing pages. So for example, this landing page, maybe I could send 10% of the traffic to, this one 50%, and this one 40%. And you can see here, this is where all of the data is shown, and this is where I make my critical decisions to turn all of my campaigns from money-losing campaigns to possibly profitable campaigns. I mean, I don't succeed all the time, but generally following the rules of, okay, what landing page is generating the higher click-through rate, and then eliminating the targets that are generating a poor click-through rate, I've managed to get this up to about 25% as of this particular recording. And you obviously you can see here the ones in red I have now shut down. I've sent 0% of the traffic because it's just pointless. This one was far outperforming. It's really easy with Pay-Per-View Dominator just to throw in the landing pages, weight them, and then Pay-Per-View Dominator will automatically spit out a URL for me that I'll place on the pay-per-view network, and then it'll automatically start rotating these landing pages, and then start sending them to the offers in the back end. It's all controlled by this one software tool called Pay-Per-View Dominator. And if you remember from a previous slide, I talked about multiple landing pages and multiple offers. This particular tool, Pay-Per-View Dominator, allows me to create multiple landing pages and multiple offers, so I can rotate between unlimited permutations and find which one gets me the highest earnings per view. For this particular offer, I'm not measuring the conversions right in Pay-Per-View Dominator. I'm sending it to the CPA network. But if I was sending it to Pay-Per-View Dominator, and you can do that, you can measure the conversions right within, I would see which offer is generating the highest earnings per view, what combination is generating me the highest earnings per view. And what do? You do exactly what those guys did. You spend a bit of money, not necessarily $5,000 a day, but you spend like $5-10. You find out what's working, and then all of a sudden that $5-10 becomes $50 profit in the afternoon. Okay, but you do need a sophisticated tool like Pay-Per-View Dominator to do something like that. So basically, in conclusion, pay-per-view is a cheap and targeted form of traffic, and especially if you want to succeed in the CPA marketing game and you want to get cheap targeted traffic, I highly recommend that you do get involved with pay-per-view traffic, because just like pay-per-click traffic, it is traffic that at the end of this module you can go out and you can buy instantaneously. It's not like free traffic where you got to wait months for it. It's a serious form of paid traffic that you can get instantaneously and start tracking. And like I said, you can start bidding on competing URLs, because in my experience, that's the best converting type of traffic, is to start bidding on your competitor URLs. Look at a CPA offer, find out what their competitors are, use a tool like SpyFu or Keyword Spy, put the domain in any of those services, and you'll get a slew of different competitors for that domain, so that you can start pulling those domains and start bidding on it. Okay, now if you're going to be rotating multiple offers or multiple landing pages, you do need a sophisticated tracker to do that. If you are interested in grabbing the my proprietary PPV Dominator, and I really credit that piece of software to the reason why I've made millions of dollars sending pay-per-view traffic to CPA offers, because you need to have some sort of sophisticated rotator, some sort of sophisticated tracker to do all of that to help you succeed in the pay-per-view campaign. And the pay-per-view dominator is a tool where you can basically run your entire PPV empire from one console. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend that you do visit payperviewformula.com for more information on how you can get that. So that wraps up pay-per-view traffic and this particular module. I have supplied you. I did talk about the pay-per-view networks in this particular video, but there is also a PDF file that is right beside this video that once again you can download that list the pay-per-view networks where you can go out and you can start buying traffic today.